The U.S. national debt just hit $38.4 trillion. That's growing at $6 billion per day. And for the first time in American history, we're spending more on debt interest than on the entire military. If you're not paying attention to what's happening right now, you could wake up one day and wonder where all your money went. I've seen this movie before. It was called 2008. Today, I'm showing you exactly how to protect yourself. Not doom and gloom predictions. Actual steps you can take right now so that if things go south, you don't just survive, you thrive. Let's get into it. Let me be clear about something up front. I'm not here to tell you the world is ending. I'm not selling gold coins or a bunker in Montana. What I am saying is the warning signs are flashing. And in 2008, the people who paid attention to warning signs got rich, while everyone else lost half their net worth. So let's look at what's actually happening. Credit card debt just hit an all-time record, $1.23 trillion, the average. Person carrying a balance owes over $7,300 at an average interest rate of 22.8%. That's the highest rate this century. Delinquencies have been rising for 10 consecutive quarters. Almost 9% of credit card balances are 30-plus days late. The Federal Reserve says these levels haven't been seen since the Great Financial Crisis. Here's the scary part. 59% of Americans can't afford a $1,000 emergency expense. Not a $10,000 emergency, $1,000. A single car repair could financially break the majority of the country. Remember those pandemic stimulus checks and extra savings? Gone. The San Francisco Fed confirmed that $2.1 trillion in excess savings was completely depleted by March 2024. The cushion doesn't exist anymore. Meanwhile, housing affordability is at its worst level since they started tracking in 1981. First-time home buyers are now just 21% of purchases. The historical average is 40%. Young people literally cannot afford to buy homes. The National Association of Home Builders says 75% of American households cannot afford a median-priced new home. 3 out of 4 families are priced out. That's not a housing market. That's a housing crisis. And the stock market? The Shiller PE ratio is at 40.7. That puts current valuations in the 99th percentile of all time. The only time stocks were more expensive was December 1999, right before the dot-com crash. Warren Buffett has a metric called the Buffett Indicator, total stock market value compared to GDP. He said anything over 200% means investors are playing with fire. It's currently at 221%. The yield curve was inverted for 16 months, the longest inversion in modern history. Historically, when the yield curve uninverts, a recession follows within 6 to 18 months. It uninverted about 13 months ago. We're in the window. Layoff announcements hit 1.17 million this year, the highest since the pandemic. The quits rate fell to a 5-year low, which means workers are clinging to their jobs because they're scared to leave. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to wake you up. Because here's what happened to people who weren't prepared in 2008. The 2008 crisis destroyed $16.4 trillion in household wealth. The median American household went from $95,000 in net worth to $47,000. That's a 51% decline. Half of everything people had built just vanished. More than half of American families lost at least 25% of their wealth. 1/4 lost 75% or more. 10 million people lost their homes to foreclosure. But here's the part nobody talks about. While regular people were losing everything, some people got incredibly rich. Between 2011 and 2017, institutional investors spent $36 billion buying up 200,000 foreclosed homes at fire sale prices. Blackstone alone bought 48,000 properties and made $7 billion when they took it public. In one Atlanta zip code, investors bought 90% of the 7,500 homes sold. Regular people lost their houses. Wall Street bought them for pennies on the dollar. The difference between the people who got destroyed and the people who got rich wasn't luck. It was preparation. So let me show you exactly how to prepare. Step 1. Build a fortress emergency fund. Forget the old advice of 3 to 6 months expenses. In this environment, you want 6 to 12 months. I know that sounds like a lot, but when layoffs spike and jobs are hard to find, you don't want to be forced to sell investments at the worst possible time just to pay rent. Start with $1,000 as fast as possible. Then build to 1 month of expenses, then 3 months, then 6. Every dollar in that fund is insurance against disaster. Put it in a high-yield savings account earning 4 to 5%. Not invested, not in the stock market. Cash you can access tomorrow if everything falls apart. This is not optional. This is the foundation everything else depends on. Step 2. Eliminate high-interest debt immediately. If you have credit card debt at 22% interest, that's not debt. That's an emergency. Every month you carry a balance paying more in interest than you'd earn from almost any investment. The math doesn't work. The guaranteed return from paying off 22% debt beats any stock market return you might get. Attack highest interest debt first. Throw every extra dollar at it. Consider balance transfer cards with 0% intro APR to buy yourself time. In a crisis, debt is a trap. When income drops and payments stay the same, you're stuck. Get out now while you still can. Step 3. Recession-proof your income. Your job is not as secure as you think. Layoffs are at pandemic levels. Companies are cutting costs. Nobody is safe. Ask yourself right now, if I lost my job tomorrow, how long until I found a new one? If the answer is more than a few weeks, you have work to do. Update your resume now, not when you need it, now. Reach out to your network before you're desperate. People can smell desperation, and it's not attractive. Consider a side income stream, freelancing, consulting, a skill you can monetize independently. Having even $500 a month from a side hustle gives you options. The best time to find a job is when you have a job. The best time to build income streams is before you need them. Step 4. Don't panic sell your investments. This one is counterintuitive. I just told you all these scary things. Now I'm telling you don't sell your stocks? Yes, because the people who lost the most in 2008 weren't the ones who stayed invested. They were the ones who panic sold at the bottom. If you sold in March 2009, you locked in losses of 50% or more. If you held on and kept investing, you recovered everything within a few years and made massive gains after. The stock market has recovered from every single crash in history. Every single one. The only way to permanently lose is to sell at the bottom. Keep investing consistently. If prices drop, that means you're buying more shares for the same money. That's a good thing if you have decades until retirement. The caveat is this only works if you have steps 1 through 3 handled. You need the emergency fund so you're never forced to sell. You need the debt gone so payments don't crush you. You need income security so you can keep investing. Step 5. Cash is optionality. Beyond your emergency fund, consider keeping extra cash available. Not a ton, but some. In a crisis, assets go on sale. Stocks drop 30 to 50%. Real estate gets discounted. Businesses sell for cheap. The people who got rich in 2008 had cash when everyone else was broke. Warren Buffett invested $13 billion during the crisis at sweetheart terms. He had the cash. Others didn't. You don't need $13 billion, but having $5,000 or $10,000 or $20,000 available when opportunities appear is how wealth transfers from the unprepared to the prepared. Step 6. Audit your expenses ruthlessly. Look at every subscription, every recurring charge, every nice-to-have expense. Cut the fat now, before you're forced to. It's much easier to cancel Netflix voluntarily than to cancel it because you can't afford food. Every dollar you're not spending is a dollar that can go to your emergency fund or debt payoff or investment account. Those dollars matter more now than ever. Ask yourself, for each expense, would I cancel this if I lost my job? If yes, cancel it now and redirect that money somewhere useful. Here's the thing about financial crises. They're actually not that complicated. Bad stuff happens. Unprepared people panic. Asset prices crash. Prepared people buy. Unprepared people sell. Wealth transfers from one group to the other. The system is the same every time. 1929, 2000, 2008. The details change, but the pattern doesn't. Most people spend their whole lives in the unprepared category. Paycheck to paycheck. No cushion. No plan. Just hoping nothing bad happens. Then, something bad happens, and they're wiped out. And they spend the next decade recovering. And by the time they recover, the next crisis hits, and the cycle repeats. The prepared people just keep getting richer. Same economy, same events, different outcomes. The difference is not intelligence, not luck, not income. It's preparation. It's having a plan. It's doing the boring work before the storm arrives. The warning signs are flashing. National debt exploding, consumer savings depleted, delinquency spiking, valuations at record extremes, yield curve signaling. Maybe nothing happens. Maybe we get a soft landing. Maybe the Fed engineers another miracle. But maybe we don't. And if we don't, the people who prepared will be fine. The people who didn't will be wishing they had watched videos like this and actually taken action. You're watching this video. That means you're paying attention. That already puts you ahead of most people. Now take the next step. Pick one thing from this video and do it today. Open the high yield savings account. Make an extra debt payment. Update your resume. Small actions compound. The person who starts preparing today is in a completely different position than the person who waits until the crisis is on the news. Future you is counting on present you to make smart decisions. Don't let them down. If this video opened your eyes to what's coming, hit that subscribe button. I drop videos every week breaking down money and what's really happening in the economy. Comment below and tell me which step are you starting with. Let's keep each other accountable. All right, go build that fortress. I'll see you in the next one.